Hello, and welcome back to the Open Debate. So, this evening we have quite a story on our hands. First off, before anything starts, I would like to thank everybody who supported the channel earlier today, and I apologize for the somewhat of a scam, the way that the donations were being portrayed. So, if you had have donated earlier, I will play your donations now before the stream starts. So, this is what should have happened earlier.
We have to wait and see. I won't jump to prejudge, but it's not looking good for Jussie. He needs to speak to the cops.
Yes, I agree. He definitely did need to speak to the police. Earlier today, we were speculating whether or not JUSSIE SMOLLETT was a victim or a perpetrator in a hoax of a hate crime, and this evening we seem to have gotten our answer. I'm going to continue to play the donations. Thank you to Barry, who just donated that, $10, who just said, we have to wait and see. I won't jump to prejudge, but it's not looking good for Jussie. He needs to speak to the police. Yes, he did. Tune in and drop out said. Seems to be not playing the donation. That was through Super Chat. So all the okay, so basically what I was going to say when I first started off the stream, earlier people were donating, and I thank everybody for donating to the stream. If you donate through Super Chat, YouTube takes 30% of those donations, and I do not receive any of the money until the following month or the following pay period, and that's if I make more than $100 within that pay period. And so far, throughout the entire time that I've been on YouTube, which has been over a year, and through multiple generous donations on Super Chat, I've made over $40 in donations on Super Chat, and YouTube has registered $9 of those donations. And therefore, if you have donated through Super Chat, I highly recommend that you retract those donations and take them back, because I'm not receiving that money. And so, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is through Streamlabs, and the link is in the description. It's in the chat right now. You can add your voice, you can write out a message, and it will display it on the screen and say it to the audience in front of us. And I think it's a good way to get the audience involved and get us all talking and involved in the conversation, because that's what this channel is about: having a conversation, having a discussion, and getting together with you guys, the community, and figuring out the truth, figuring out how we feel about certain situations, and just discussing things, having a good time, feeling comfortable to discuss things with each other. Whatever you'd like to say, go ahead. And I just feel like it's a good way to interact with you guys. So I'll play another one. Here's from BigWater59. This was also a Super Chat, so we'll see if this plays. See, the Super Chats don't actually read out what you say in the message, but if you donate through Streamlabs, it will read out your donation. And so here's another one from BigWater59 after he donated through Streamlabs, and here is what he said.
Did you hear any more about the meeting in the elevator?
And so, no, I had heard a little bit of a meeting in the elevator. I heard that JUSSIE SMOLLETT had met with the two accused perpetrators of the attack, and that also I had heard that he had rehearsed the attack prior to it taking place, but I had not seen any information about an elevator. So, with that being said, welcome to the Open Debate. My name's Elder. I will be your host for this evening. And we seem to have some breaking news on the JUSSIE SMOLLETT case. So, earlier today I was taking it a little easy, not really giving too much into my opinion on how I felt about the way that this man decided to conduct his actions and portray himself to the public. But as it stands now, we are seeing that actor Jussie Smollett has been charged with a felony. So let's read this article out of CNN Entertainment, because, you know, Jussie Smollett is an actor on Empire, a show that I've never seen, but I have heard is quite good, so I may check out. Even now, after hearing this controversy, I may check out Empire. Out of everything, I think Empire may have gotten the best publicity out of all this, because it seems that everything that I've heard is, oh, Empire's been such a great show. Wow, he's such a good character on this amazing show, Empire. That's all I've heard. So I've heard that it's a great show. I may check it out. Let me know what you guys think, because I actually haven't seen it. So if you have, let me know. So we're going to get into it right now. And reading the article. CNN, breaking news update, published at 8:14 p.m., just a little while ago. A charge of disorderly conduct has been approved against Empire actor Jussie Smollett, according to an email from the Cook County State Attorney's Office. Filing a false police report is disorderly conduct, according to Illinois' code. Disorderly conduct is a Class 4 felony, the state's attorney office said. A bail hearing is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Thursday. So, this is apparently from a previous story. You know, the Empire actor Jussie Smollett was officially classified as a suspect in a criminal investigation Wednesday for allegedly filing a false police report, according to a tweet from Chicago police spokesman Anthony Guglielmi. What a weird name, and after all this, his name has become such a common name, Guglielmi. A Cook County grand jury was hearing evidence just weeks after the young actor reported being the victim of a hate crime on January 29th. The police spokesman said filing a false police report is a Class 4 felony. Smollett's transformation from victim to suspect in a reported crime that captured national headlines came on the same day that a high-ranking police source said Chicago detectives were working to obtain the actor's financial records. Investigators also have sought to ask the actor additional questions about the attack. CNN has reached out to Smollett's attorneys for comment. So, this is just, before I said it was not looking good for Jussie, and this is absolutely terrible, and I'm glad that things seem to be coming to a front here. This is wild. So, yeah, okay. Video appears to show brothers buy items. Two law enforcement sources with knowledge of the investigation have told CNN that police believe Smollett paid two brothers to orchestrate an assault on him. Surveillance video obtained from a Chicago area beauty supply store appears to show the brothers connected to the incident, purchasing a ski mask, sunglasses, a red hat, and other items the day before the alleged assault on the actor. The January 28th video shows two men shopping. They paid in cash, said the owner, who wishes not to be identified. The video was turned over to police on Friday, the owner told CNN. The brothers, who were arrested and released in connection with the attack, met Tuesday with police and prosecutors at a Chicago courthouse, Ahern said. The county's top prosecutor, Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox, has recused herself from the investigation, according to a spokeswoman from her office. Wow. So the lead investigator has decided to step down from the case. The actor denies role. He's continuing to deny. Well, this is from, like they previously stated, this is from a previous article, but the actor has been continuing to deny the role. So Smollett has continued to deny the role at this point. Yes. Charged. Let's see what ends up happening in the end. Actor denies role. Smollett's attorney met with Cook County prosecutors early in the day, according to police spokesman Tom Ahern, but a source close to actor's team told CNN that he has not given police a follow-up interview and no such meeting is scheduled. Smollett told authorities that 2 men attacked him, putting a rope around his neck. We know this story. We know this to be a false story at this point. The actor denies playing a role in his attack, according to his attorneys, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Everybody still has the same idea and question, like what motivated this man to do this? Why would you think that this was a good idea? What would make you believe that if you were the victim, or you were the forefront of the movement for a victim mentality, that would promote anything decent? This is not a good thing, and that's what is so key to learn from this situation, that this type of mentality, or the people that are trying to perpetuate this type of idea, they're not working in the right way. They're not working towards the right goals. If you have to perpetuate a fake narrative in order to drive your point home, then you're going about it the wrong way. I'm not happy to see this type of thing happen, but what I am happy to see is that this was not true, that this didn't happen, that there wasn't an attack on this man, that he didn't have bleach poured on him, that a noose wasn't tied around his neck, and there weren't crazy Trump supporters, because nobody wants to see crazy Trump supporters. It's the same as nobody would want to see crazy Obama supporters. Nobody wants to see crazy anybody. Nobody wants to see crazy Bernie Sanders supporters. Nobody wants to see crazy political, ideological, like people who feed into their ideas, like people who feed into the way that they believe and their mindset. If you don't understand that somebody down the street probably doesn't feel the same way about certain issues than you do, but they agree that we should all love each other and live in harmony in the same community, then you have a false mindset of the way that Western society works. We're working towards building a better society within each other. That's the way that I see it. That's what progressive nature should be, or that's the way that to call yourself a progressive, or to call yourself somebody who wants to work towards building a better future, isn't a label. It isn't something that you need to outright state or be. You don't need to be a feminist in order to have a feeling of equality in all areas of life, whether it be, because feminism has become such a crazy term these days, but if you just want people to succeed and you want to see people benefit and grow and become better, but you also look at these things rationally and try to find the best solution in order to achieve those goals, that doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you just a rational person. That you still have the same ideas, you still want to enter the same realm, you still want to get to the same end goal. And that's one thing that Brett just said in the chat there, that's a very good key point, is to remember that this is all, he said it's all a distraction, and that sounds very conspiratorial, but it's not necessarily all a distraction. But like I said in today's earlier stream, don't let this story distract you from researching and investigating what else is going on in the world and other things that may be impacting your direct life or things that are happening around you, because at the end of the day, this story really does not affect you at all, especially because it's not true. You are not going to be affected by the way that this guy, you are not going to be affected by the way that the sentence that this man gets, or the way that he's treated in the public eye. This is just a story that is entertaining. It's modern day entertainment. This is what we get. This is the same as a sitcom. You shouldn't look into it any further than that, and that's all it really is, especially when it comes down to stories like this. If you're going to be, and that's not to say that every serious issue shouldn't be taken seriously, but the way that we look at especially situations like this, when they come out as false and they've been portrayed in the media. We should take that entire situation. This could be made into a movie. We could make this entire situation into a short film. The deception of the modern American public. And, you know, you got to keep in mind that there are so many things happening throughout the world that this is a minor issue. So, the question is, what is a Class 4 felony? I think that is something that we should check out. So, I'll bring this up here. And we'll read it. And we will discuss it. Because that's what we do here on The Open Debate. Let me pull up the screen here, and I will get back to reading the description. I'm sure you all are reading it as we speak. So, a Class 4 felony charge in Illinois falls under Illinois law, a prison sentence. Illinois law, a prison sentence for a Class 4 felony conviction must fall within 1 to 3 years. Class 4 felony convictions can also include fines up to $25,000, which I feel is more than likely going to happen in this case because he's such a prominent figure and he has money, and the courts feel as though that's something that will just appease everybody. But I'm hoping that the public will work towards hopefully getting him convicted to at least, I would say, up to a year. I wouldn't think I personally, I don't think that he deserves to go to prison for a long time, but this is a very serious issue that if the thing is this, is it the reaction? What determines how somebody should be punished under the law? What he did, in my eyes, is absolutely detrimental to the nature of how we conduct investigations on any minority group, or not just minority group, just any sort of investigation that isn't necessarily cut and dry. And so this was a strange situation. He seemed to be attacked for certain reasons, and so we looked into it, or the police looked into it, and it turned out to be false. There have been so many false reports when it comes to hate crimes and situations like this. There are also many true situations that happen, but we need to keep an open mind no matter what. And I don't think that this situation is necessarily going to sway the public mind one way. Not one way or the other, but I guess not going to sway the public mind to stop believing in people when they make claims, because the media handled the situation so poorly that like I said, your average individual there, like I read an article from Variety earlier that was discussing how this was disgusting and how it was terrible. Well, those were my words, but how this was not a good situation, essentially. And with that being said, people seem to see or have at least a small glimpse into the media bias, and that's one small step into at least letting people understand that the media is not on your side. Don't consider me the media. I'm not the media. This is not a media show. This is a community discussion. This is a time where we can get together and discuss things, research things. If you have something that you want me to pull up on the screen, make sure that you @ me on the chat or donate through the super chat so I definitely hear it, one of the two, and I will try to pull it up and we can all discuss it together, because I want to build a community of people who are into finding out the truth and discussing different hard topics that may seem hard to discuss but are interesting and need to be discussed. In today's day and age, it seems as though people shy away from speaking the way that they want to speak because they're afraid of what other people are going to think of them. but you need to understand that you are an individual, and we all work together. As long as you aren't, you may be a terrible person, and if you are a terrible person, in the end it'll come out, but I highly doubt that you are. Most people that live in society, in modern Western society, work together and work towards the same goals. Like I say all the time, we may have different ideas of how to get there, but in the end we want the same things. This is just the way that I feel. Random people saying your channel is the reason I'm part of why I dumped my cable a few weeks ago. Yeah, my parents got cable. It's terrible. I told them earlier, do not get cable. You're just going to be bored of it in 2 weeks, and it's terrible. All they do is watch home renovation shows and Tosh.0. You know, that's literally it. They don't do anything. When was the last time somebody was charged for this? Yeah, you know, that's a good question, Brett. Like, I thought the same thing. Like, it's a very strange charge to be getting, a class 4 felony charge of what's it here? Yeah, I'll pull it up. I went to it before, and we'll read the definition of what he's being charged with. So 3 things fall under this class 4 felony charge, and it's drug crimes, obstructing justice, which he's being charged for, and criminal sexual abuse, which is absolutely fucked. Excuse my language. So he's being charged with obstructing justice. So a person obstructing justice when with intent to prevent the apprehension or obstruct the prosecution or defense of any person, he or she knowingly commits any of the following acts: destroys, alters, conceals, or disguises physical evidence, plants false evidence, furnishes false information, or induces a witness having knowledge material to the case to leave the state or conceal themselves, possessing knowledge material to the case themselves, leaves the state or conceals themselves. If a parent, legal guardian, or caretaker, a child under 13 of the age reports maternal false information to the law enforcement. So pretty much every single one of these 3, not the bottom one, just because he didn't have a child to back up his story. But this dude literally, it does seem like a strange charge, but it does fall under all 3 of these acts for sure. And it comes with a 1 to 3 year sentence. I'm not sure if that was a minimum. Let's go back and see. Perhaps a minimum. Up to. So I'm not sure what the minimum is, but I'm up to $25,000. So it's going to be interesting to see what he actually receives for this, because, like I said, he is a prominent figure. He does, you know, have a role in modern society. You could say he's influential, so we'll see if that plays a role in his favor or if that makes a turn for the worst and he is made into an example. And personally, I think that he should be made into an example. The way that he displayed, like the actions that he displayed throughout this entire debacle are disgusting. I think that after this, like, I'm just gonna pull this up right now real quick, just to be, I don't know, just to watch it, right? Like, let's watch quick the interview, a few clips. We watched a few clips of the interview that Jussie Smollett did earlier tonight, but I'm just gonna pull it up and we'll skip through it a bit. And it's one of those things. I just want to look at this guy. Like, it's absolutely wild the way that he's acting, like a full-out actor. Like I said, pretty good actor apparently. That's what I've heard. But for him to be discussing things the way he is and talking the way he is, it's absolutely disgusting. Like, I'm not very happy, especially because I've said this before, and I don't talk very often about like black issues or anything like that, but as a black male in general, when you have situations like this where people, certain individuals, that represent that community, the black community. So when you see black people have a persona that's a persona that is portrayed throughout the media that isn't always portrayed in the best light. And when you have individuals like this that seem to be prominent figures within the black community that are also doing well for themselves and seem to be very well outspoken, and they may not be, their values may not 100% align with yours, but they seem to be at least actively working towards becoming great people just like everybody else in society, and showing the black community what they should be aspiring to become. And then you see something like this, it really shines a negative light on the work that other individuals do to break that stereotype and break that stigma, which is prominent, it's something that, it's not something to complain about or something to whine about, but there's a definite stigma there, and a definite, I would say, inherent bias that individuals have, but it's not something that is detrimental to the production or the productivity of success in somebody's life necessarily, depending on how hard the bias is. So I'm not too sure how you all feel about that, or if I have any viewers of color out there, call you VOCs, but yeah, for sure. That's just kind of how I feel and just how I've seen things from my perspective. So let's just look at a couple things here. I don't really have too much more to say. We'll see what I think of when I watch this video, but it's kind of just it's mind baffling. I said earlier tonight, I can't believe that somebody would do something like this, and the way that the media handled it also was terrible. Like that article that I read, showing you how the media was handling it when this story first broke. It was disgusting. They were completely trying to narrate the story as though it was something that 100% happened, and if you disagreed, that you were just a bad person. That's usually the way that the media works. They try to talk down to the audience. So if you're not somebody who agrees with the narrative that they're trying to display, then you must be a bad person. So you may as well just turn off the program. So anyways, we're gonna take a couple ganders at this, see if my comments are still there. Maybe just look at those clips today.
New York, musician and actor JUSSIE Smollett sat down with me for his first interview since that night in Chicago.
Whoa.
Smollett told me how he's doing now and responds to those who doubt his account.
I'm pissed off.
They're there, boys,
girls. What has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's at first it was a thing of listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Then it became a thing of oh, how can you doubt that? How do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
What happened that night, JUSSIE?
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's my uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up. And then we got back to the apartment. There was no food. And so I went out to Walgreens thinking that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke. Walgreens was closed. So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm gonna run to Subway, which was across the street, and I'm gonna get a salad. Do you want anything? I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager thinking that he was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other clients. Mm-hmm. And I said, yo, call me when you can. He called me immediately. And while he was on the phone, I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker.
I said this before, so this is my first video, and like that's the key indication right there. If I had ever heard that, like you can see it in her face as well. She's just like, really? That's what you heard? He's like, yo, this mega country nigga. It's like, yo, what white guy has ever said that? Like, and convincingly said that? That's absolutely wild. You're wild. You're wild. You're talking crazy. You're talking out your ass. Talking out your ass there. Like, honestly, it's too much. It's too much. But like I said, he's an actor. And I'm going to check out Empire because I'd like to see how good of an actor he is. Actually, I don't even really want to check out Empire for him, just because I have actually honestly heard it's had good reviews. I should title this video, Empire Gets Great Reviews After Jussie Smollett Disgusting Hoax.
Masked. And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone.
To be honest, all that was probably true. Like, he probably was fighting them. And there was probably a second person, the other brother, kicking him in his back. But I said this before. There's nothing that I can say that I haven't said before. Those guys are massive. They're huge. Imagine getting beat up by those two Nigerian brothers. Like, they're massive. They would beat you up. This guy, what? This is like 3 days later, 5 days later, and he's just like, yeah, you know, my face is healed. I had a little scratch on my face. I thought my ribs were broken, but they're not because I fought back. I'm the gay Tupac. Yeah, it's cringy. I may be a little bit cringy, but this is way more cringy than I could ever even imagine to be, because I'm not a lying sack of shit. Like, the thing is that no matter what type of shit you get in, or like, I don't know, you shouldn't lie to this extent. Like, you should, no matter, it's like a toothache. The way that I look at things in life, I had a really bad toothache when I had my wisdom teeth coming in, and you know, I had a filling in the back of my mouth. My wisdom teeth were coming in. They decided to squeeze together all of my bottom teeth, the teeth on my bottom jaw. And I didn't get it taken care of. My wisdom teeth continued to grow in for about 1.5 years. I decided, you know, it's going to cost. We're here in Canada. We have no health care for teeth, which is crazy because we have. Anyways. About fucking $1,200, which sucks. That's a lot of money, and it took me about 1 year to save up the money to get it done. And throughout that time, the bottom jaw, my bottom teeth, they pushed together, and I had not a cavity, but a filling in the back, and it broke. So I had a chipped tooth, and I waited to get it fixed, and I waited, and then it didn't hurt, never hurt. All of a sudden, one day, I just never got it fixed. One day, all of a sudden, broke a little more. That thing hurt so bad, I couldn't get to the dentist fast enough. I didn't care how much it was going to cost. I ended up paying, I think, $400. I didn't even have, like, I had $400, but I didn't have like $400 extra to pay it for this dentist appointment. I didn't care. I just did not care. It was this, or I'm going to not be able to survive. Like, my life is over if I don't do this, pretty much. And so that's pretty much the way that I look at things, is so if you don't take care of something now, because I didn't want to go to the dentist beforehand, because I figured, you know, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. It doesn't hurt now. I'm going to have to go get this tooth fixed, and it's going to hurt. I'm going to have to get a needle and all this stuff. But in the end, if you don't take care of your problems now, it's going to end up to be a lot worse in the end. And, yeah. Wow, guys. This is absolutely wild. Like, actually, I'm pretty surprised to see that they were so quick to charge him. I'd like to see what happens at the hearing. Obviously, the story is going to continue to develop. But, like I said, as the story continues to develop, make sure that we keep in mind and we keep trying to think and research other stories and that are prominent that should be displayed more than these are, because in the end, this is not what is probably going to be the most detrimental story to what that's going to affect your life, or that you need to be checking out. I was planning on doing a stream tonight about what the predictions are for the 2020 elections, and looking in hindsight at the 2016 elections, and just comparing the two situations and my predictions for what's going to happen. But since the story broke, I decided to discuss this with you guys. I think that tomorrow afternoon I will probably bring up that stream, and so if anybody wants to get in on that, make sure that you keep that in mind. Tomorrow afternoon I'll be coming on here. We'll be discussing the 2020 elections and whether or not Trump will be reelected or not. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, because you are the voice of the channel. I seem to be the host speaking most of the time, but you are the voice of the channel. Everybody in the comment section, everybody in the chat right now, you guys are what keeps this channel alive, and you guys are what keeps it going. So I appreciate you more than you can even imagine. Let's continue to cringe out to Jussie Smollett, or Jussie Smollett, speaking out on his attack.
Phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out, and it was sitting there, and my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, "Brandon," and he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I was just jumped." And then I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
You didn't
because
see?
It was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all
It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds, honestly. I can't tell you honestly. I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, "There's a rope around my neck."
Did you get any kind of description of the attack?
I gave a body description, and because I saw this, right here or whatever, but I didn't see, I can't tell you what color their eyes were. I can't tell you, and I did not see anything except the second person I saw running away. And the first person, yeah, I saw his stature. I gave the description as best as I could. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. People can wear ski masks and nobody's gonna question that.
The police have gone through a lot of video.
He really thought that was gonna play out. Like he really, you could see that on his face. He was like, "Yo, it's Chicago. It's winter. People can wear ski masks. Nobody's gonna ask shit. Like, why are you questioning me about why they were wearing a ski mask and why I didn't think it was weird or nothing? Like, why nobody would be like, hey, that's kind of weird. These guys are walking down the street with a ski mask. It's Chicago. It's cold. Obviously, this kind of shit's gonna happen. And you know what? That kind of shit, obviously people should be wearing. They should be dressing up, but didn't work out for you, bud. It just didn't work out for you.
Video, and they were able to capture an image of two people of interest. Have you seen that image? Mm-hmm. And do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
I do.
What is it about their size, or why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there. For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them. Never did.
Why did you hesitate to want to call the police?
There's a level of pride there. We live in a society where, as a gay man, you are considered somehow to be weak. And I'm not weak. I am not weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak. So, I can accept that there was pride there. There's also privacy, at the end of the day.
You know what? I think that's actually a pretty detrimental thing that he said, and that was a pretty detrimental thing that was being promoted throughout this entire narrative of the story as well, is that he was a gay man and that he fought back. Like, I'm the gay Tupac, and that if you're gay, look up to me because look what I can do. Like, what the fuck is this gonna do to people that actually have that mentality or have that mindset that they had nobody to look up to, and then they finally found this dude and they're like, yo, look at how this guy handled it, and look at, he just did all this, and now all of a sudden they see like, yo, this guy falsified these accusations, and none of this actually happened. He made this up. Like, that is so bad. And personally, I think that the narrative that he's trying to say or to perpetuate is actually more damaging than even having this guy to look up to as a prominent figure for the LGBTQ or whatever community. Because I think that if you were LGBTQAI plus whatever you are, that you should be able to look up to anybody and find qualities within people and gravitate towards what you enjoy or what you feel as though are prominent qualities, that are good qualities that you would like to portray in yourself, whether they are male, female, black, white, gay, Jew, whatever. It doesn't matter. Any sort of anything. It doesn't really matter who or what the ideology is. If you gravitate or you feel a bond with that, you should be able to connect with it. And the fact that they feel, or people feel, as though if you are a black young male, the only thing that you can connect with is a black character in a TV show or something like that, or a young woman, that the only way that you can feel as though you could ever be a scientist is if you see more scientists in women in science, then that is a terrible mindset to have. That is so regressive. That is not the way that you should be thinking. Everybody should love each other and embrace the qualities that we have, the good qualities that we have, and gravitate towards what makes us happy. And that's just how I see it. So let's keep going, guys.
Look what has happened. You know, look what has happened. So I'm glad that Frank called the police. I'm glad that we reported it. During that time before they came, it took them about maybe half hour to come. And during that time, I was looking at myself, just like checking myself out. I saw them.
Yeah, Brett just said a key thing that he said, we have to recognize people who are still asleep. But what I'd like to ask you guys, and what I'm struggling with and what I'm confused about, is what does that really mean? So if you're asleep, that's fine. If you don't want to contribute to, if you feel as though I would rather people somebody else just take care of life, if everything's going to continue to flow the way that I am now, that things are now, then that's fine, and I don't need to worry about it. As long as I don't need to think about anything or worry about anything, then I'm fine. As long as society keeps working the way it works, then okay, I'm going to keep going with the flow. But what do you do when society's being swayed in a direction that seems to be detrimental to the way that we currently live life? And so it's not necessarily like, we do need to understand that the majority of people don't necessarily understand what's going on, but the people that are influencing those individuals definitely have a grasp of what they're trying to accomplish and what's happening, and therefore we as individuals need to step up and speak out, and as average individuals, that these other people who don't care just see as other people. Instead, they don't see us as prominent figures. They just see us as different people. Why would you think any different than I do? It gets different people thinking. You need to think of it as on a small scale. Don't worry about changing the world. Change the individual. It's how many, like, if you can discuss, and you don't need to, like, when I say change the individual, I don't ever push your ideology on somebody else. If you believe something a certain way, don't ever try to make somebody else believe the way you believe. Offer your information and accept the information that they give to you, but don't try to change their mind. If they're willing to change their mind after learning the information that you've given them, then that's fine. That's on them. But you are not going to change their mind. That's up to somebody else. You are never going to be able to change somebody's mind. Well, I'm not going to go that far. You could manipulate somebody, but that's not the way to achieve your goals. And therefore, End of rant, guys. Let's continue to watch this.
A bruise on my neck, you know, like the little, the rope burn around my neck. And then but I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it, when you have a bad bleach job. So then I was like, there's bleach on me too. So when the police came,
I gotta stop this shit already. Have we ever seen the pictures or videos or anything of those clothes that have bleach on them? Why didn't you take pictures of that shit? Like, that's a clear evidence that he obviously got bleach poured on him. Like, why would he not take pictures of that? I have not seen one picture of a bleach stained shirt. If he had bleach thrown on his face, his beard would be bleached, his hair would be bleached, his eyebrows. He has hair on his face. It is dark. Bleach stains dark hair. Or am I wrong? Am I wrong? Let me know.
I kept the clothes on. I kept the rope.
So you had the rope on the entire time?
I mean, it wasn't like wrapped around, but yeah, it was around because I wanted them to see. I wanted them to see what this was. I told them what happened, everything. I also asked them to turn their body cams off because they were trying to stay in the hallway. And I was like, please just come in. Like, I don't want a big scene with my neighbors and with like the second round of police officers. I went down to where it happened and I walked them through exactly what happened. And I looked up and I saw that there was a camera directly on the light post that is in the intersection. So I'm like, there it is.
A potential break in the case that would eventually fall apart days later.
And then the detective told me that the camera inside of the casing was facing north, so they didn't have it. And that was disappointing.
The vast majority of people have been supportive and loving and understanding. And then as time has gone on and that there's no, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to Subway, Sub-Zero.
Subway is open 24 hours. Like, people kill me when they say things like that because it's like Subway is open 24 hours for a reason. So that when you're hungry at night and you ain't got no food, you go to Subway. The camera facing north, how is that my issue? It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot more.
Well, then why didn't he just say that? Because in the end, they ended up being black. Very black. Blacker than me. Like, darker than I am. But, you know, you can't say who's blacker than who's blacker than who. You know, blacker the area, the sweeter the juice. But, you know, that's absolutely grinds my gears, boys and girls. Like, what do I even say? Like, what kind of person does this? Yeah, okay.
And that says a lot about the place that we are in our country right now. The fact that we have these fear mongrels, these people that are trying to separate us, and it's just not okay. Mm-hmm. It's just not okay. And for all of the people, the next time that you see someone report something, maybe well after the fact that it happened, and you say to them, well, why you wait until now? Just remember that mine was reported right away. And look what has happened.
The phone.
Mm-hmm.
When did you, because as you said, it was an accurate account mm-hmm. of the timeline, valuable information. When did you make that information available to the police?
We had to give the phone records, which they didn't originally ask for my phone records. They asked for my phone. They wanted me to give my phone to the tech for 3 to 4 hours. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
Because I have private pictures and videos and numbers, my partner's number, my family's number, my castmates' number, my friends' numbers, my private emails, my...
If you want to talk about that, Brett, just message me. That's kind of like out of nowhere, man.
private songs, my private voice memos. I don't know what that's going to be to hand over my phone for, and honestly, by then, inaccurate, false statements had already been put out there.
Earlier.
Actually, message me though if you want to talk about that, because I'm always down to talk. And if you have anything that you would like to discuss, like we're not going to air it on the stream or anything, but just because like I know you, Brett, so just message me if you want to talk about that or anything. That kind of made me a little upset. Not upset, but just sad. So just shoot me a message, please, brother.
I mean, I come really, really hard.
We're going to skip forward a little bit because I fucked up. We don't need to watch this whole interview anyways, guys. You guys all have seen this. Everybody's seen this. I'm just kind of watching it because... Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. I'm just kind of watching it because like we're looking back on like the way that this guy was acting, portraying himself, and trying to portray himself and show how he was the victim. And not only was he the victim, but he was a strong victim, and that he's not a victim, it's a new class of victim. It's like, it's a hero victim. Somebody has attacked you because of something that makes you a victim, but instead of becoming a victim, you became a hero, and you were the face of oppression, and you can rise up and you can help other people rise from the ashes and come up and make themselves better, and you can be the face, and I am essentially Superman of the LGBTQPOCLQAIOTIA+ community. And this is exactly the problem that I see in society today. Victimhood mentality, when it's like you don't understand that you have the power to do whatever you want to do. This is what we've been told since we were kids, and this is such a privileged, such a millennial point of view when we were growing up. And I'm fine to say that this is exactly something that I was 100% told so many times growing up, that you can do whatever you set your mind to doing, and you can achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. The thing is, that doesn't come from a liberal mindset. That comes from a very conservative mindset. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve, but it doesn't come from sitting on your ass and doing nothing and expecting it to come to you. It comes from hard work, putting in the work, determination, hard work and determination, and putting forth the effort in order to achieving the goals that you want to see, in order to accomplishing the goals that you want to achieve, and getting to a place that you feel comfortable being at. And you are the one, as much effort as you put forth is the effort that you are going to get back. And that is the way that I see things in life. And I understand that sometimes it's not fair. Sometimes the effort that you're putting forth, essentially, depending on the situation, there are instances where individuals are attacked, or I'm not going to say attacked. I know this is going to come kind of out of nowhere because I haven't had any music playing for a while, but I'm going to play some music now. And so, because I'm going to tell a story for a second, but so this is like essentially true. Like this is 100% true. When I was in college, I know that there are still some situations where people are discriminated against because of their race, gender, and it's like, oh, I couldn't get to this position because I am explicit. Like I am black, white, green, yellow, woman, man, Muslim, Jew, Christian, whatever you want to insert into that category. And so what I'm going to say is a story that happened to a friend of mine while I was in college. When I was in college, there was a nightclub, and it was called Barracuda. I'm not going to let you know where it was, but if you are smart enough, this is the internet, you obviously know where it is. And so across the road there was a diner. It sold stuff like pulled pork, just like random like late night food that you'd go in and buy after the bar. And it was pretty popular. It was really busy, and it was always needing help. And so I had a roommate, and she was a girl. She was older than I was. I was about 19 at the time, so she was about 20, 21, and she was in school for culinary. She'd already been in school for 2 years, so she was doing quite well. She worked in, well, she had done some volunteer work in the restaurant there at the school, and she was going through her courses. She applied for a job at this pub, restaurant, whatever you want to call it. It's like a little, it was like a little restaurant in a plaza. When she walked in, they 100% looked at her when she said, I'm gonna hey, I'd like to apply for a job. They said, oh, what are you applying for? She said, I'd like to apply for a cook in the kitchen. They 100% said, we don't hire women for the kitchen. And they just didn't even take her resume. It's like, it's not even like they accepted her resume and was just like, yeah, you know, like, we probably won't hire you. They didn't even take her resume. Oh my God, Brett, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Oh no, are you calling this shit out? You calling out that restaurant? Looks like it, but I'm not gonna bring attention to it too much. But I really don't care, because that's absolutely disgusting. How could you? I honestly, when she came back home and she told me that, I said this to her. You should, not that, oh, you know, social justice situation, but if you feel as though that was not proper and as though you were discriminated against, or that because she didn't really feel good about the situation, I said you should discuss it with the labor board, because that's not appropriate for a business to 100% outright say to somebody, sorry, we don't hire women for the kitchen. In my mind, honestly, if you didn't want to hire women for the kitchen, accept the resume, say thank you, and just put it on the back burner. Just don't hire for the kitchen, plain and simple. But don't it's just disgusting to be putting people down like that. Even if you have that mindset, that's why I understand that certain individuals and certain situations do lead to discrimination, because I'm not against somebody having their own bias or their own belief. If you don't like black people, or you don't like Jews, or you don't like white people, that's your own personal decision and burden to overcome. And so if you own a business and you don't like black people, and some black person comes in to apply, you need to understand that you can't just outright discriminate them because they're black. You need to treat them the same as any other person. But after they've left, I understand if you're personally not going to hire them, but if you're ever going to express that to somebody else, then you need to understand that you're facing repercussions, because you can't outright discriminate against people, at least within Canada, and it seems to be becoming more of a problem throughout the United States. I don't know how you guys feel about that sort of thing, but I'm definitely not a subscribe. I do not subscribe. I'm not a subscriber. I do not subscribe to any political party. So I don't know what you guys are out there, if you're liberals, if you're conservatives, but personally, if you subscribe to a political party, that's fine. You can do what you want. But in the end, you need to understand that politicians are not on your side. The game is not played in your favor. They're not looking out for your best interest, and it is not like there are two sides to a coin. Well, it's two sides to one coin. It's the same thing. They're both working towards the same end goal, which seems to be globalization in the end, for the most part, even throughout the different factions of government, which is not a favorable outcome, I believe, for the majority of citizens. But yeah, free thinkers are the way to go. Think for yourself and understand that the information that is coming in, or that we're accepted, like, even look at everything that is pulled up on this screen right now. YouTube is owned by Google. I have Google open right there. CNN was opened through a Google search engine. Twitter, I probably got there from Google, but they I don't know if, I assume that most people on my YouTube are pretty involved within the YouTube community, and therefore I assume that you have watched the Joe Rogan interview with Jack Dorsey, and it was absolutely disgraceful. So disgusting, and something that Joe even continues to bring up, and I don't really, personally, we're not going to get into this right now. Perhaps one night soon we'll get into a conspiracy theory discussion interview video, but I personally believe that Joe Rogan is not really, he's kind of pushing a narrative that he doesn't personally believe in all the time. But even he continues to discuss the fact that Jack Dorsey decided to promote the fact that he believes that discussion and speech on Twitter should be considered a right for every individual, and yet the actions of Twitter have completely disregarded that statement and have been in contradiction to it completely. And so it's kind of an interesting thing to see. So yeah, watch a couple more minutes of this video, see what's going on. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. Well, not the comments below, but the chat beside, or the comments below if you're watching this at a later date. A later date, boys and girls. So let's do it.
Private pictures and videos and numbers. My partner's number, my family's number, my castmates' number, my friends' numbers, my private emails, my private songs, my private voice memos. I don't know what that's going to be to hand over my phone for. And honestly, by then, inaccurate, false statements had already been put out there.
Earlier this week, he submitted phone records from within an hour of the incident, but Chicago police said they were limited and heavily redacted, adding they need additional information to corroborate the investigative timeline. His attorneys tell us they are willing to cooperate. Smollett also says he has been troubled by inaccurate claims. What other ones had you heard that were inaccurate?
That I had said that they were wearing MAGA hats. I never said that. I didn't need to add anything like that. They called me a They called me a There's no which way you cut it. I don't need some MAGA hat as the cherry on top of some racist sundae. I've heard that it was a date gone bad, which I so resent that narrative. I'm not gonna go out and get a tuna sandwich and a salad to meet somebody. That's ridiculous.
I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this dude though? Like, how out of touch is he with reality? So like, that was one thing that I remember looking back on and saying like, so that's actually the most prominent theory that I had, at least that I was going with beforehand, was that at the very least, if this was not some staged hoax, that perhaps he was in a type of relationship with these two brothers and they were out and they were having a good time. They were just grabbing some food and then an altercation happened. And for him to come out and say, like, to talk down, like, yo, okay, first of all, he said that he was at Subway eating, so why are you saying that it's such a bad place? And like, you know what, like, okay, yeah, obviously Subway's not going to be the first choice that somebody's going to take their date to or something like that, but like, to look down on people so hardly and just to say that it's like ridiculous and it's such a like a crazy thing to assume that I would ever meet somebody at Subway to like go, what if it's just a casual like, hey, I'm not too sure, like, even we were just meeting online, I'm not even really too sure if you're a fucking catfish or not, like, who the fuck are you? Let's just like meet up and see how things go. Like, I'm not into this, like, you know, let's just meet up. Or even if you were just meeting up as friends, like, who knows how the situation is going. But to demean it that much is so disrespectful to average people who actually just who do this sort of thing. Like, it's disrespectful. And when you become on that level of fame, or you get to that level of fame, you kind of have a disregard for, or a disconnect from the average individual who, like, yeah, he's saying that, but like, you know, people eat Subway, you know, like, people go out and like people get fast food and stuff. It's not really that out of the norm, and it's not really crazy, you know, like, and not everybody has a lot of money, you know, even what I'm saying now. Imagine, like, I don't know, some people, like, fuck off, man. Like, you know, Subway is fine for some people. Like, just fuck off. Like, that's absolutely, I just find that really fucking disrespectful. I'm sorry for swearing, guys. I'm sorry for getting upset, but like, I just actually really find that really disrespectful. And so like, I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about that. But personally, I find that sort of rhetoric and the way that he's discussing how ridiculous it would be for him to ever go and meet somebody at Subway just to be disrespectful, because not everybody has money, not everybody has the ability to like go out to a fine dining place, and not every situation is a situation where you want to spend all your resources throwing into a situation that may potentially be like a waste of time. It's like really stupid. So just let me know how you feel, because that obviously got under my skin a little bit.
And it's offensive. Yes, there's Grindr. Yes, there's Jacked. Yes, there's all of these things, which I have not been on in years. I can admit that I was on that back in the day. I was single. You know what I'm saying? But I have not been on that in years. But aside from that, it's offensive. And I absolutely resent that narrative, because it's bull. It's bull. And it's unfair. It's unfair to the investigation. It's unfair to, I hate this word, but it's unfair to the victim.
What were your injuries? What were
they did x-rays. I didn't have, it was reported that I had like fractured ribs or cracked ribs or something like that. That wasn't true. I was just in a lot of pain. You know, my clavicle was messed up, my rib was bruised, but nothing was cracked. Like, I walked into the hospital. I walked out of the hospital.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I can just assume, I mean, I come really, really hard against 45. I come really, really hard against his administration. And
I think, honestly, personally, I'm just going to tell you guys this. I think that he thought that that was going to be like a triggering thing for conservatives to be like, I come really, really hard against the administration. I come really hard. It's like, buddy, that's fucking hilarious. Out of everything in this interview, at least that's kind of funny. Like, I come really, really hard against the administration. That's why they targeted me. First of all, I've never heard this guy's name before, ever, once. I've never heard this dude's name before this all came out. I've heard a lot of people speaking out. Alyssa Milano, she's from some show, a girl show, something like with, I think, Charmed or something, girl show. And, you know, the Madonna, I think she was speaking out. There's, you know, there are lots of people. I'm just trying to think of like actors. There are lots of like political figures, but I'm just trying to think of different actors. Even Rosie O'Donnell, she's very outspoken. There are so many outspoken individuals, but JUSSIE Smollett, never heard the name before, not once in my life. And so I don't think you come really, really hard against the administration. And if you do, like, sorry, bro, you're not making too much of an impact. Personal opinion, though. I can't speak for the masses.
I don't hold my tongue.
I want to ask you about JUSSIE Smollett.
I think that's horrible. It doesn't get worse, as far as I'm concerned.
Were you aware that he made that statement?
I saw it. I don't know what to say to that. You know? I appreciate him not brushing over it.
And there is no doubt in your mind what motivated this attack?
I could only go off of their words. I mean, who says empire, this MAGA country, ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you? And this is just a friendly fight? I will never be the man that this did not happen to.
He will forever be the man that this did not happen to. Like, that is absolutely fucked. So, who would do that? An absolutely deranged, psychopathic, racist piece of shit would do that to an individual. But guess what? If it was motivated in the way that you were promoting, you know who else would do it? Two of your friends who you paid to. What is the motivation, guys? Like, let me know. Like, what do you guys think about this? Okay? Please let me know what you think the motivation was behind him orchestrating this entire attack. And then even with the two brothers that he is friends with, like the two Nigerian brothers, like I don't even I can't Abel and Ola, I believe, are their names. I can't remember their last names. It starts with an O. What is the motivation behind what is driving those two to help him do this? What did he tell them that he was trying to accomplish, and why are the police not prosecuting them as well? That's what I have. That's the why. That's what I have. What is going on? They are implicated in this as well. They perpetrated this hate crime. They helped him execute it. Why are they not being held accountable? Is it because they're cooperating with the police and they're giving them the knowledge that is not being given to them? Like, can anybody help me out with the laws and the way the United States works, or something? Like, what is going on? Because this is very baffling to me. What would drive somebody to do this and then turn around and conduct an interview like this that is so, like I said, guys, 5 days later, this is still like we're in the same day, 5 days later, and this has not aged well. This is disgusting. Let's keep it going. Puke.
I am forever changed. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the responsibility to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
What do you feel people need to hear the most from this story?
I think that what people need to hear is just the truth. It's just the truth, because everybody has their own idea. Some are healing and some are hurtful. But I just want young people, young members of the LGBTQ community, young Black children, to know how strong that they are, to know the power that they hold in their little pinky.
It's been 2 weeks since that night left actor Jussie Smollett bruised but not broken, and he's still processing the raw emotions. Have you ever been threatened before?
Yeah. I get threatened all the time on Twitter and Instagram and DMs and things like that. It's like, but, you know, I'm a public figure. I'm very outspoken. Sometimes maybe too outspoken, but it's who I am, you know, so.
He's on the wrong side of history. That's pretty much where we can see it as it stands right now. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm about to say. There are a lot of people who will be on the wrong side of history, and I plan on staying as neutral as possible and trying to uncover the truth behind what is happening in our modern day society, because as I see it, the truth has been covered by a fine line of it's hard to describe. The truth is there, but it's being masqueraded as a lot of the time false. It's as though you're looking out a window and there's a curtain in front of you. That's the best way to describe this situation for individuals, because I'm not good at articulating myself at times, and therefore I will describe this to you as this. If you were to look at a window and there was a curtain in front of it, you could still see the cars passing by in the road, but they would be slightly distorted. Now, those cars are still there, and you can make out what's going on, but it's a little bit harder to get the full description and the information around what type of car that is, how fast they're going, you know, how many people were in the car, what color they were, what they were doing. And this is somewhat the way that the media has been portrayed and is working now in today's modern society. They give us the information, but it's often masked by bias and a false narrative that's being driven and trying to be put into our psyche and trying to make us feel a certain way. They want an emotional response. That's literally the best way that mainstream news entertainment industries can gain traction is by gaining a response from the individual. And so if you feel a certain way, if they can gauge your emotions and make you feel a certain way about a topic, you will engage in the content and they will get more clicks, and you'll share with your friends. If you're mad, you're going to tell everybody about how you feel. And so they play on those emotions. And so if there's a story that it may be a fine story, but there is a way to spin it in a negative angle, there's no reason why the media wouldn't spin it in that negative angle in order to gain more traction, in order to make you spread that around and let people know and tell people and have more viewership and gain more traction so they make more money. But if you were just to take a step back and look at all of the facts, that story may not be as negative as it seems. So guys, like, this is going to be a main theme throughout these streams. And if you have friends, make sure that you share these streams and make sure that you let people know, like, if they are just individuals that may be left wing, or they really, like, if you know people that are like super left wing, please, like, tell them about the channel, because not many people that are on that side come and check out the channel. YouTube is predominantly Republican, I guess. It's a hard American base. A lot of my viewers are in the United States, and it's a very right-wing dominant industry here on YouTube, and male predominant. And I would love to have a variety of people coming and discussing things. If in the chat, imagine you guys were just discussing things and having an actual debate. And don't be afraid to speak your opinion, because this should be considered not a safe space, but a space where you feel comfortable to do what you want, which should be absolutely everywhere. That should be what society is. But society has become a place where censorship is, especially within Europe. If you're European, make sure you share this with your European friends. I don't care what you put in the chat. This is the whole thing. You can say whatever you want, whenever you want. This is the open debate. If you have an expression or you have an opinion, put it in the chat. We're open to discuss it. And if it's a bad opinion, we'll talk it down. We'll debunk it. We'll annihilate your terrible opinion. If you believe that Jews are not as good as Christians, then let's discuss it. And I guarantee that this community of people are decent enough people that we can come together and band together a solid enough argument in order to dispute that. Because personally, I don't believe that any religion is higher than any other religion, and each individual ideology should weigh at the same level. And, well, certain, depending on moral support, it would be an interesting discussion. But personally, I don't believe that any ideology outweighs any other higher, like much higher. So they're all around the same category, and therefore you should not discriminate against anybody for holding an ideology, but we should definitely portray and push forth. Ah, hey, how's it going? What's that?
Keep up the great work, man.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Hey, new guy. New guy? That's cool, man. New GT guy. Thanks, brother. Thanks for that donation. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I like Super Chat because, like I just said before, you guys can donate and say what you guys have to say, and let me know what you're thinking. And I definitely get to see it, because when it's going in the chat, especially when everybody's talking, it gets a little fast and it's hard to keep up. Scroll up and down. I can definitely keep up with you guys right now, and oh, Kilgore, Troot, I haven't seen you in a while, man. I miss all you guys. Yeah, I definitely miss doing all these streams and just doing the videos and stuff. And I'm glad that I have a new computer and am able to stream. Like I said, y'all, you just gotta be real, and you gotta really, what? It looks like this new guy just donated $65.93. Yo, I gotta check that out. But like, yo, bro, thank you Thank you. That actually helps out so much. I'm definitely going to put that towards the streams and make sure that I get some more good some better content coming out, and just definitely keep that going, man. Thank you a lot. That's awesome. Wow. Whew. Thank you, brother. Guys, I've really liked hanging out with you guys. I'm gonna keep playing this video, and we're going to see what Jessie has to say here.
I get the idea of pissing people off, that you're gonna rub people the wrong way.
In fact, the week before the attack, police confirm a letter was sent to the Fox studio in Chicago with threatening language and laced with powdery substance, likely Tylenol. Do you think there's a link between the letter and the attack? And you did mention it to the police right away about the letter.
Absolutely. Just because on the letter it had a stick figure hanging from a tree with a gun pointing towards it, with the words that said, "Smollett Jussie, you will die, black." There was no address, but the return address said in big red, you know, like caps, MAGA. Did I make that up too?
And despite lack of video surveillance footage, Smollett hopes to rewrite the narrative about that night, saying he fought back against his attackers and reported the incident after his creative director called 911.
He's supposed to be well-known requesting a report, and so the noose was placed over the friend's neck.
I want that video found so badly because for probably 4 reasons. Number one, I want them to find the people that did it. Number two, I want them to stop being able to say alleged attack. Number three, I want them to see that I fought back. And I want a little gay boy who might watch this to see that I fought back. And it does not take anything away from people that are not able to do that. But I fought back. They ran off. I didn't.
What do you say to a young gay man, a young gay person?
To learn to fight. And I don't just mean like learn to fight. I mean, learn to fight. Learn to be a fighter. I am not advocating violence at all. So let's be clear about that. If you're gonna die, fight until you do. Because if you don't fight, you have no chance. I have
I actually haven't been talking this entire time. That's crazy. I've been trying to tell you. Okay, so what I was saying is this ID, the way that he was saying this, wow, that just made me so upset. So, wow, I didn't have the chat up either. That maybe somebody said, no audio, can't hear, pissed, made me so mad. Wow, guys. Okay, let me go back. I'm going to say this again because this is actually such a, wow, I'm so mad, guys. Guys, come on. That was this was such an important thing that I just said.
So let's be clear about that.
Okay, I'm going to go back. Wow, I'm so mad right now. I'm actually upset.
What do you say to a young gay man? A young
CX
gay
in the
person?
chat, boys.
To learn to fight. And I don't just mean like learn to fight. I mean, learn to fight. Learn to be a fighter. I am not advocating violence at all. So let's be clear about that. If you're gonna die, fight until you do. Because if you don't fight, you have no chance. I have fought for love. I'm an advocate. I respect too much the people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way.
Okay, so what I said in relevance to that, what he just said, I believe fully 100% in what he just said. And this is what I just said with the mic off, mic muted. So what he just said is, if you believe in something, you need to fight for it, and not physically. And so this is not what I think that he is trying to state, but this is what I'm going to state to you right now. If you believe fully in something, you need to fight for that cause. You need to fight for that ideology. If you believe something is right, you need to tell people. You need to let other people understand. You need to let them know. You need to fight for that. You need to fight for your right, the right to express yourself and let people know what you feel as though is the right moral objective, I guess you could say. And then he says, if you don't fight, right? This is also something that I completely agree with. If you do not fight, then you are just rolling over and letting somebody take control of the situation. If you do not fight for your ideology or what you believe is to be true, there is somebody out there who believes in their ideology more than you and will push it on you. If you do not agree, if you do not agree, that's not for you to agree. If you're not willing to fight for your own ideology and you're willing to put it on the back burner, there's somebody else who is willing to fight for theirs and is more than willing to impose it on you as long as you're willing to take it. And therefore, those are two things to keep in mind. Please, please fight for your ideologies and fight for what you believe to be right, because those are two things that you should never give up.
You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. Let's, I was talking to a friend, and I said, I just want them to find them. And she said, sweetie, they're not gonna find them. And that just made me so angry, because, so I'm just gonna...
Barry, did you just say that I quoted Jeffrey Dahmer, or did you just say that Jesse quoted Jeffrey Dahmer? Because I believe that we were both speaking about the same thing. And regardless, like I just said, his actions may have been absolutely disgusting and terrible, but it doesn't matter who you are, the words that you speak can still ring true. There's not one bone in my body that condones what Jeffrey Dahmer did, but I'm not going to sit here and say that there were no words that he spoke that could not be true or hold value for individuals if they were to hear it. So I'm just interested in what you had to say. Who was?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to be left here with like, so they get to go free and go about their life and possibly attack someone else, and I'm here to left with the aftermath of this bull. That's not cool to me. That's not okay. So I understand how difficult it will be to find them, but we gotta. I still want to believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice. Because if I stop believing that, then what's it all for?
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rolls into Steven Crowder. What a piece of shit, Jussie Smollett. See, a lot of people are attacking him very hard. Like, you got right here in the recommended. Blair White. Jussie Smollett is a liar. Tucker Carlson. Tucker sounds off on a new Jussie Smollett development. That's not too bad. What a piece of shit. Right? He blinks it out, but he's willing to say it. What a piece of shit. Jussie Smollett, louder with Crowder. Ken John breaks... okay. Got a couple more things, though. Wow. Guys, that's kind of interesting, eh? What do you think about that? I'm going to pull up this other video, because why not? Why not get some more videos going? I'm having a good time talking to you guys, so why not pull up some more videos? Honestly, watching back on that interview, it really puts into perspective just how Jussie Smollett thought that the narrative would be played out, and he thought that nobody would ever there's no way that anybody would ever believe that this wasn't a true story. And if you did think that this wasn't a true story, then you would be branded as a racist or a homophobe, and there was no way that anybody would listen to you. But that's simply not the way that it went down. I really do hope that Jussie Smollett is made an example of here, because we've discussed it, but you know, it's just a bad situation. And so I hope that the courts make an example of him, but until that sort of information comes out, there's not much I can do. So, like, I'm sure that lots of people are sitting there just like talking shit about I'm gonna swear a little bit, but like, I'm sorry for the language if there's anybody listening. It's pretty late at night. I'm sure that there are people out there that are just talking a lot of crap about Jussie Smollett, saying, oh, what a terrible person, I can't believe that he would do this, I can't believe that this would happen. But if you honestly can't sit there and think about what would drive the type of mindset to really try to fake this narrative, or like the type of person that would want this to be true, or the type of repercussions that could come from this, or what you could achieve if this was true, being the face of a movement, you could create an entire movement. Like, think about Christine Blasey Ford, they say. I know this woman's name. And it turns out in a court of law, the accusations turned out to not be fully they couldn't be matched up. I can't think of the word. You know, you guys know. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to worry about it. And to think about what would drive somebody to do that, it really isn't that far off if you already have the mindset that these type of people are out there, and you just don't want to put yourself into that actual situation, and you just say, okay, well, I'll just pretend like it happened. But I'm sure that it would have happened anyways if I had have just stayed out there for longer. Like, people have this mindset. Like, you got to keep in mind, everybody needs to remember that not everybody feels the same way as you do. We all have different opinions, different ways of thinking, different mindsets. It's all over the place, guys. So apparently there's some surveillance video that shows two brothers hours before the alleged Jussie Smollett assault. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's freezing rain outside. It's absolutely terrible here. Crazy.
This is new now at 5:30. WGN has obtained surveillance video of those two brothers buying items likely used in the alleged attack.
Let's go to Tom Negovan, who's live on the north side with that story. Tom.
That's right, and that part of the story, Micah and Joe, does pertain to those brothers, the Arcendaro brothers, who've been talking to police and prosecutors at 26 and Cal, the Cook County Criminal Courthouse. We know they're there today. We know now where they were on Monday, January 28th, just hours before Jussie Smollett reported a hate crime in the Streeterville neighborhood. Take a look at the video of them on that day here in the Uptown neighborhood at a beauty supply shop. What you're seeing them purchase are a couple of balaclavas or ski masks, along with some gloves that they bought at this nondescript shop in Uptown. and a red cap. Specifically, we're told by staff here, they sought out those items. They don't sell a whole lot of ski masks here, they tell me, but these two brothers seem very eager to pick them up and seemed very urgent about that, according to a store security guard who tells me the brothers stood out in his mind. He had questions about their purchases, about what they were doing there, and, well, he believes he knows the answers now.
I'm amazed. I've heard about it, read about it, seen it on the news, but I never thought that I would actually be involved in what they was plotting and planning.
Now that you know, what you're hearing, does some of what your encounter with them involved make sense a bit?
It does. It does. To commit a crime, you would think necessary. You would want a mask like this to cover your face. You would want a red hat so you can pin it on somebody. So, yeah, it makes sense now.
Montego Silas tells us it didn't make sense at the time. He had questions about the brothers, their urgency to purchase rare items they don't usually see from a beauty supply shop of all places, a bit off the beaten path. New developments, of course, continuing to come in this story. Fast and furious, lots of twists and turns in this. We'll stay on top of them. Much more to come. For now, live in the Uptown neighborhood on the north side of Chicago, Tom Negevin, WGN News. Micah Joe, back to you.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken.
Sorry, I had to reply there to Brett. He just said that he fried. What did you just fry? You fried a video card on your main PC. That's absolutely crazy. Whoa. R.I.P. Let's put an F in the chat, everybody. F in the chat for Brett's video card on his main PC, boys. Pay your respects with an F in the chat, please, because that is actually a serious problem. F in the chat, boys. F in the chat. Come on, guys. Let's all get it going. F in the chat. Alright, so this is a new development in Jussie Smollett's alleged assault case. So, everybody's been talking about this, and, I actually haven't seen the video. Okay, whatever. I was talking like that. I was pulling off a voice. Come on, guys. I haven't seen this video where everybody's talking, I'm the gay Tupac. I really actually, I'm happy to do these live streams. You guys will get to see my personality a little bit more. And we'll get to know each other just more on a personal level. But I really have when I look into politics and I think about what type of political leaning I would be into, I am definitely more of a centrist and left-leaning centrist with a conservative mindset. So I'm all over the map, and so that's why I don't prescribe to any political party. But I have a real problem with people not necessarily discriminating against minority classes or just people who you would necessarily prescribe to what would be considered a minority class. But I have a problem with people not giving credit where credit's due, or underestimating, or what it's called, I can't think of what the word's called at the moment, but when you perceive a race to not be able to do as well as another, and therefore you don't expect as much, and praise them for doing less than others, which is absolutely disgraceful and doesn't promote success or achievement or accomplishment in any regard as a society, in society as a whole. And I don't agree with that. And it really gets under my skin. And certain things like not feeling as though gay people are as strong as straight people. A simple thing like that. You know what I mean? A very simple thing like that. Gay people aren't as, just that quick, inherent, biased mindset that the average person has. Gay people aren't strong. They aren't as strong as straight people. Why the fuck do you think that? And why is that promoted in any sort of way? And those are the sort of things that keep people who are in those minority classes, or in those, like, if you were gay or you didn't feel as though you had any representation, I feel as though it's because the average individual, or like society as a whole, has that bias that, gay people aren't strong. But why? What is the difference between a gay person and a straight person? It's sexuality. That shit should stay to yourself. Like, nobody cares. That's the way I look at it. Nobody cares. Do your own thing. Nobody cares what you got to do, as long as it doesn't impact me. Go do your own thing. And let's what do you want to build? You want to build something? You want to move some wood from here to there? You want to build a fire? You want to go like, are we doing so, like, in a work setting? Is like, are we gonna plan? You want to plan an event? You want to figure out what we need to do? How many vendors we need for this event? Or do you want to figure out, like, how much lettuce we need to bring in if we're gonna be doing one thing at a certain event? I don't care. But your sexuality doesn't need to come into the play. It doesn't need to come into play. That has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. You can do whatever you want to do. That's how I feel. I really just don't care. Like, it has nothing to do with your average life. And so, like, I just don't think that you can judge somebody based on those types of ideologies or the way that they feel. All right, so I haven't actually seen this. I think that this is the video where Jussie Smollett says that he's the gay Tupac. If it is, we're going to check it out, boys and girls.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. Frank Gatson drove me. I was not hospitalized. Both my doctors in LA and Chicago cleared me to perform, but said to take care, obviously. And above all, I fought back.
That was Jussie Smollett at the Troubadour just days after his alleged attack on Tuesday, January 29th. That was actually 2 weeks ago tonight. In the video, he was speaking directly to the audience to clear up some of the rumors that were circling regarding the ordeal. Now he is making headlines again. Since there are so many different outlets reporting on this right now, I've got Brandon Jeffrey on from the ET News Desk joining me now to help me break everything down. Brendan, thanks for joining us. This story has had lots of twists and turns. Can you tell us where we currently are?
Right, and we've been following this story from the beginning. As you mentioned there, it's been a very fluid situation. Right now, CBS News is reporting that their sources are telling them that Jussie actually orchestrated this alleged attack that happened over 2 weeks ago in Chicago with these two suspects that were in custody up until Friday evening. We reported, obviously, on Friday
Police released
that those
these
men
photos.
Were released from custody. They are the two men that are actually in this surveillance video here that you are looking at. And Jussie actually even said when he was on GMA with Robin Roberts earlier this past week that he believed that those two men in the video were his attackers. So police detectives finally were able to find these two men, and at first they were referring to them as persons of interest. Then, over the next several hours, it shifted, and the police took them into custody and arrested them on Wednesday night at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Reportedly, the two men were returning from a trip to Nigeria, and police met them, reportedly, according to other reports, at customs when they arrived at O'Hare on Wednesday night. Now, from Wednesday night until about late Friday night, these two brothers, who again are of Nigerian descent, met with detectives in Chicago, spoke with them along with their attorney, and provided police, according to police, with new evidence and new leads in the case. So by Friday evening, we were hearing from Chicago police that these two brothers and their attorneys provided new evidence with police. So that gave police enough evidence that they felt like they were okay releasing these two brothers that they had had in custody for the past 48 plus hours. So they released them, which meant even though they were arrested, they were released and they were not charged. And they were no longer looked at as suspects, according to the victims' or those two men, excuse me, according to those two men's attorneys. Now, we can confirm, well, this is what Chicago police told us as of Saturday evening. Quote, we can confirm the information we received from the individuals questioned by police earlier in the Empire case has in fact shifted the trajectory of the investigation. We've reached out to the Empire cast member's attorney to request a follow-up interview. Now, Tanner, that is from the chief of communications for the Chicago Police Department. Here's the thing here. This basically means Chicago.
I feel you guys as well. This guy sucks at telling a story, and we already know exactly what's going on. I didn't realize that this was 17 flipping minutes long, and we're not going to sit here and watch this entire thing. I don't know, guys. It's pretty much coming up to the end of the stream. It's coming up on 2 hours. We're going to talk for a couple more minutes here. Probably end it out at the top of the hour. But I, as we're sitting here with everything open, and sure, I'll leave it on that. I don't care. If I just want to know what you guys have to say and what you guys have to think. Like, I can see you guys in the chat right now. Scoot a little closer so I can read it because there's two browsers open. But honestly, guys, like, what type of streams would you like to see in the future, and how do you guys enjoy the live stream format, or would you rather me be making videos? I do enjoy making the videos, but the editing time is very intense. It takes up to between 8 and 12 hours to edit a video. If it's a 20-minute video, if it's just a quick 10-minute video that doesn't take much effort and I'm just speaking, it may just take up to, 2 to 3 hours to edit. But with the current editing software that I had, I was using my phone to edit, and so it was taking quite a while. My computer was not an option. I do not have any software on this computer at the time, but I may look into recording some more because I do enjoy that format as well. But I'd just like to know how you guys feel about the live streaming format, and if you would like to see these to be continued. Also, if you would, I would like to know how you feel and what stories you would like to hear discussed, and what you guys would like, what kind of discussions you would like to be brought up on this channel. This channel has been mainly political stuff, and I've spoke about this many times on the channel, and if anybody has been following since the beginning, you will understand that this has been a reoccurring theme on this channel since the inception, that I don't necessarily want to speak about all political things, because the political environment is so hostile and so negative at most of the time. It's so bad, and there are so many things. When you read the title of this channel, The Open Debate, that means anything that seems controversial or conspiratorial or interesting to discuss. So if there's anything that you guys could think of that you would like to be discussed, I'm open to anything, and I have an email for this channel at the.opendebate@gmail.com. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that because I just gave you the wrong email. the.opendebate321@gmail.com, and that is the email where you should send your information, ideas. If you have any crazy videos of ghosts or paranormal events, I would love to start. What was that? It doesn't pop up on there, but oh, that was through Super Chat. E.T. Benzer, here you go, but it doesn't play on the screen because I had said earlier, please, if you're going to donate to the channel, please donate through Streamlabs because it goes directly through PayPal. I get the money directly, and Streamlabs takes a very minimal percent, whereas in YouTube takes 30%, and I do not see the money until the next pay period, so the next month, and until I make over $100, I will never see the money. And my channel is not monetizable. We talk about controversial situations, and it's not it is monetizable. I do have monetization on some of my videos, which I should just take off because it does not do anything for me, and it's probably becoming a burden for you guys. But if I were you, please, guys, ad block that. I know you don't hear people saying that, but ad block that. I'm going to take monetization off all videos because it just doesn't make any sense. The very most that I'm making on any video, exposed right now, guys, the very most that I'm making for ad revenue on any video is 18 cents per view, and at 1 million views per per million views, it's $180, which is very, very small. For 1 million views, I could never even imagine to get 1 million views right now. Like, that's crazy. And at $180, if you're putting in the effort that it takes to create a video and content on a channel that pulls in over 1 million views, at $180 for 1 million views, like, think about that for the big YouTubers that you see that are pulling in like 2-3 million views. Like, what? So they're making like $200-300 a video. If they're only putting out a video every month, like, that's really not too good. And to go back, E.T. Benzer, if you would like to retract that donation and charge back because you did it through Super Chat, I am okay with that. I am telling you that you should probably do that because I will not see that money. And so I'm actually advocating for you to retract that donation and fuck Super Chat. I know. I assume YouTube won't be too happy about that, but I'm really not. I speak the truth, guys. We listen to what's going on. So, don't clickbait out. What is this? Okay, so, yeah. If I get super rich, I'll definitely pay off your truck, bro. Definitely. I'll invite you. If I get super rich, I'll invite all the like original supporters of the channel out to like a house or some shit, and I'll have like a big debate house or something where we all like get together for like cool like, it's not a convention, but it's like little like discussions and crazy, like it'll be a crazy like philosophical house. It'll be like the modern day we're predicting the future and shit, you know. We'll be crazy. We'll be wild. We'll be the hippies of the future, but not really hippies because we actually have a structure to our lives. It'll be pretty cool, guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking, what you guys think about this situation with Jussie Smollett. It's absolutely crazy to find out that he's now being charged, and it's a Class 4 felony, like it says right there. Under Illinois law, prison sentence for a Class 4 felony, conviction up to 1 to 3 years, right? Like, that's pretty crazy. Or a fine up to $25,000. I would be interested in seeing what ends up happening with this situation, but in the end, right? Debate House. I don't know if anybody watches live streams, but we got a little controversy going on with CX right now. If anybody's interested in that, I'd like to just message me, send me an email. I'm open. It's like you know, you guys got Facebook or anything? It's like that. It's like to email the.opendebate321@gmail.com, and it's the same thing as sending somebody a direct message on Facebook. I'm right there. I will get it directly to my cell phone, which is right here. Got it right there, guys. So don't worry. If anybody watches a little CX, I'm not going to get too much into that, but there's some controversy there. So if you got any thoughts on that, I'd also like to discuss that because it's a strange little community of online community here on YouTube. It was from Twitch and it's moved on to YouTube here, and it's actually what gave me the inspiration to pull up Super Chat and get you guys involved in the conversation that way. So if anybody's involved in live streams or IRL or CX network, drop me a line in the email that I just dropped, and yeah, I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say. And also, if you have never heard of it before, definitely look it up. It's an interesting situation. Don't take it at face value. They have a lot of internet trolling is the network. They do not there are a lot of donations that are very racist on face value and prejudiced on face value, but underline, the community is not racist. They are not promoting hatred. They're not promoting division. It's meant to be funny. Anything that is racist, for the majority, I would say 98% of the things that are meant to be racist are meant to be trolled, to garner a reaction from somebody in order to get you to react. And it's an interesting community. Also, if you look into the history of what happened and how it's become such a big community, I think that if people are interested, if you guys are going to go and check it out a little bit, and if you would like me to describe, like, I've been involved with this community for the past 2 years or so, so if you would like me to let you know all of the details around how everything is formed and where we are right now and what's going on, because everything is actually accumulated to a pretty big boiling point. It's pretty much like an in real life drama soap opera, which has been crazy because we have a few people who have just put their lives on the line for the past few years and exposed themselves to letting the public see what they do every day, all day, not all day, but every day pretty much. And it's accumulated into a lot of drama, which is just like, it's a good thing to get your mind off of the everyday media bias and the media mindset and everything like that. So pretty much that's where I'm at right now. I just love to know what you guys think and what your opinions are, what you guys want to see in the future, what you want to see from this channel. Like, where do you guys want to see this channel go? Because I am pretty open. It's called The Open Debate. So this channel is my channel as much as it is your channel. We are all in this together. I want to see what you guys have to say. I want to listen to you. I want to make this a community experience. I want this to be something that we all do together. And so with that being said, please just send me an email. Let me know what you're doing in the comments below after the stream's done. Let me know what you're doing in the chat below. And thank you everybody for the donations that you've given me throughout the night for the channel. It really helps this channel grow and helps me continue to bring you content and bring you information that I feel is interesting for you guys to discuss and for me to discuss with you guys. From now on, I would like to say thank you. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say for this evening on this Jussie Smollett case. It's been about 2 hours, and I don't want to become disrespectful. I don't want to put off a negative vibe, because there are many things that I could say about somebody who would falsify an accusation like this, but just keep in mind that this is not the right thing to do, and this is not the way that you should conduct yourself. And if you want to achieve a goal, or you want to change somebody's mind, or show them that something is a reality, or there are negative things happening in the world, that you should not falsify an attack, or you should not falsify information, because in the end, if the information does end up coming out and playing out the way that it should, then you will be shown to be a liar if you falsify the information. Therefore, that's what we've seen so far. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. Cool. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you all for being here tonight, and not just everybody that's donated, but everybody that's been in the chat, that's been talking, that's been investigating the story with me. Literal breaking story. So cool. Glad that I could actually discuss this with you guys. For now, I guess that's pretty much it. My name's Elder. It's been The Open Debate. Be your own hero, kids.